I'm Prashant. I'm a parenting coach for the last few years, and we have this parenting talk almost every Saturday now. And today we'll be talking about gadgets and children. Let's make a start. There'll be a number of points to cover today. So I think I'll just, okay, good. So we'll be talking about what's the big deal, and now since we've got the lockdown, we'll also see uh, there are certain things that needs to be done. Children have to be exposed to gadgets to some extent. So what can we do? That's the thing we want to talk about today. Yeah. So coming back to what's the big deal. Now I understand there are a lot of things that get talked about, mainly the radiation, the physical harm, and that's clearly there. Yeah, if you have a Bluetooth device, if you have a mobile device, mobile is will have a highest radiation. Nevertheless, even Bluetooth devices and Wi-Fi devices, they all have a certain amount of radiation, and it should be away from children. So that's the clear and present danger that we all know about. Um, lot of things, but there are certain things that don't get talked about, and is what I want to mention. And when it comes to gadgets, I sound like a broken record, and I keep repeating on these things. So if you have heard my earlier talk, you might want to bear with me again. Uh, Coming back to the point, the first point I want to talk about is selfie generation. We are creating a selfie generation. Not that it wasn't there. It was already there. In fact, uh, none of the problems that are created by mobile and television or gadgets are any new problem. These problems were already there. Um, Nevertheless, because of technology, these problems have a magnified in amplitude, and much exponentially over last 10 years, if you have observed this. And so selfie is basically self-centeredness. We have become more and more self-centered. We want to show how good we look, rather than we focusing on how good we are. So selfie is all about showing the world how good we look. So we just hide all our problems. We don't want to confront them, and just want to show the world how good we look. And that's why we prefer chat these days instead of just picking up the phone and talking to the friend. Okay, we actually prefer chat because chat needs more spontaneous, more genuine and authentic discussion. We don't want to do that. We want to show how good we are. So we share a photograph, and or we just have a chat where we just talk good things. Social media is all about that. And then the problem is that you are showing the world how you look. Uh, you're seeing the world how it looks, and then finally you come to think of it that, man, everybody is having fun, but in reality my life sucks. Okay, I have so many problems, but look at the world. They all have they all are having fun. It's like a party out there, and only I'm suffering here. That's the impression you take out of the world, and through this selfie generation. That's what is happening. Because of that, there's a lot of depression, a lot of self-centeredness that's getting developed. So we talked about the self-centeredness that comes out of rewards and punishment, and this is actually getting amplified with technology. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is what's the instant solutions. Today, if I want to order something, yeah, I can just, Amazon, tick, tick, tick. Next day, it's home. I'm it's it's okay as long as it's just shopping and it stops there, but it creeps in everywhere. The moment you start using gadgets to solve your problems, you are basically losing your ability to harvest something after good efforts. That ability, that joy, we would be missing, and that's what happens with gadget. You just you want a solution, you want an answer. Yeah, ask Alexa these days. You don't even have to type anything on mobile or Google anything on mobile. Just ask Alexa. Just yell, and she will answer it for you. So it's that easy, and that gives a very wrong impression, especially for students. That what students should be doing? Students should be referring to the notes, uh, trying to remember what that happened in the class, trying to find things from a textbook. Um, and see, it's not about that we genuinely want them to struggle. Number one is learning happens through struggle. If there's no struggle, learning doesn't happen. That's another topic. Maybe we can discuss some other day. Yeah, but uh, learning eventually will be struggle once they go to high school or colleges, because no amount of Google or videos are going to make your life easy when it comes to a detailed study of engineering or management, or things that needs to be learned through lot of research. And eventually when a child wants to do that, we are disabling them if they don't harvest the skills, or don't work on these skills when they are very young. So it's very important. I understand these days a lot of books are on PDF, a lot of explanation is there on the YouTube. Okay, but I feel you need to look at child's ability and see what is it that you want to give them as as abilities or skills for the future. Yeah, if a child is anyway going to handle a business, and he's keen on handling a business that doesn't need these skills, fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying, what's the skills you want to give them? Yeah, and if that skill is required for that future, then you need to think what is it that they need to use now. And again, lot of unnecessary importance is given to learning technology. Okay, learning technology is very easy. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing technology since my college. I'm a computer science graduate, and throughout my life I've been just using technology. Okay, and in spite of this, I would say using technology is very easy. Yeah, never think that your child is going to lack how to use Facebook or a mobile or a computer if you don't teach them now. Okay, if you teach them now, it is only going to add to their distraction and addictions towards technology. So don't worry. The moment child gets a mobile in their hand in another couple of hours, the child is going to know inside out of that mobile. Okay, and if the child is not learning, maybe he or she doesn't need that. So don't worry about it. Okay, learning technology is very easy because mobiles are smart. The user doesn't have to be smart. In fact, if the more the smart the mobile and the technology, the dumber the user is. It will prevent you from being smart if you're using smart technologies. So so don't worry if a child is not doesn't develop these ability earlier on. Next, I would like to talk about is how technology creeps into our space. If you have technology, there are so many things you can do with it. Okay, you know, play, watch, learn. Even if you're using it for learning, I will say that it will creep into your space, and space is very important for creativity. If you want to have your ideas, you need space. Yeah, I even if, let's say, there's no technology, and if you are filling up that space by, you know, getting your children into activities and, you know, a lot of puzzles and books, I would say, please don't do that. Work on the space first. That means get child to not do things so that the child will get bored, to the extent that the child will get bored. Okay, if you get your child to doing things into activity, books, technology, you know, this and that, the child is only going to have others ideas, never their own ideas. Okay, because the child is not getting enough space to use their imagination, listen to the inner voice, or listen, you know, creating something on their own. That's why that space is very important. Okay, and with technology there's no scope, you know, I mean, forget about they will leave the books and, you know, physical activity and other activities. uh, Technology is good enough for keeping anyone and everyone busy. And besides, it's very addictive. Yeah. uh, uh, on top of it, you know, the social media itself is very addictive. It's fairly passive media, still it is very addictive. Games, yeah, highest addiction. Okay, interactive games on internet where, you know, you're interacting with other guys. Oh, it's just pinnacle these days, and you must have already seen what's happening, you know, with PUBG and things like that. So, so you can see, you know, space is very important so that you can have, you can get child have their own ideas and be more creative. Uh, I've seen many parents feel guilty that children gets bored. Yeah, for a parent, and I want to tell you and emphasize on this that uh, getting bored is the best service you can do to your child. Work towards it. You should have that as a first aim. Okay, that, you know, get the child bored, and, you know, that is a most fertile ground for, for a student to have their ideas, you know, to develop an understanding. They will attend the class, but they need that space and that boredom, so that idea is absorbed in their mind, and they can do something beautiful out of it. So work towards that. You know, that should be one of our objective in parenting. So don't be too worried that, you know, when a child comes and says that, you know, I'm bored. In fact, that actually means that, you know, being uh, he's getting addicted to high stimulation, especially television and mobile and technology. He's getting so much of that high stimulation. Now he's craving for it. Okay, and that's why he comes and says, you know, my brain is not getting enough stimulation now, so please, you know, give me something. Yeah, I'm bored. Okay, so you need to provide them with some kind of gadget so that you satisfy their stimulation. So I'm saying, work towards not giving them anything that high stimulant, so that they can enjoy the subtle beauties of this world. You know, smelling a flower, gardening, you know, reading book. Yeah, um, just sitting idle. You know, there are certain beauties of life they would stop enjoying if they are exposed to this high stimulation of mobile, you know, gadgets basically. So, having said this, now let's see if we have to, if we must, yeah, because we all know, present times are such that, if it was not COVID um, situation, I would have, I would have said zero gadget. Okay, a child can complete their education without having mobile or laptop. Okay, it is possible. Yeah, if they have mobile or laptop, then they are not performing to the highest potential. Okay, you are reducing their potential. Okay, you're making them unsmart if you provide these gadgets. So that's why I would have said zero, but now it's not possible. We all know that. Then we have to come to the terms with it. So I would say, first and foremost, have a agreement with the child that, you know they are never going to own a gadget. My our daughter asks me sometimes, or she used to ask when I'm going to have a mobile. And my answer was very simple: the day you are going to need it, to use it for your work. If you're creating something, you're going to contribute something, you're going to work, use it as a tool, that is the time you will have your mobile. And till then, if you need, you know you can borrow mine, because you need it for 5 minutes. I understand, you borrow it for 5 minutes, but you don't need to own it. Yeah. But then she would say, but when will I own it? And I'll tell her that it's very simple. When you'll go out of college and you'll join a company, or if you are working for something where, you're earning, yeah, and to earn that you need a mobile. That time you can have your mobile. In fact, that time you can earn and buy your own mobile. Then you actually never have to ask me for a mobile. Okay, so it needs to be as simple as that. Till then, yes, you can have that. There are things in our family that we all share. Yeah, like my laptop. I never used to allow her to touch my laptop, because this is a very sacred thing for me. It's my work. I take utmost care. I never let anyone borrow my laptop, because there are a lot. It's a delicate thing. Yeah, and there are so many important things in it. I cannot afford to have anything happen. I cannot afford to happen anything to it. So, but now I allow her, and I tell her that, you can borrow things. Okay, there's a mobile, spare mobile. She use it, but it's very clear that she use it only for, submitting her assignments and things like that. But it's not her mobile. It's family's mobile. We use all the tools for something that work related purpose, and she can use it. She can use it. Keep it away. Okay, so that's very important to have that distinction. The thing is, the moment they start thinking that they own a mobile, you cannot dictate anything how they're going to use it. Okay, it's going to get very difficult for you to be with them all the time, monitoring it. And it's simply unnecessary bondage for you, and irritation for them. So have that clarity that they don't own a mobile, they use it and then keep it where it belongs. Right? So that's, if you must, then you need to use that. If you must, you have to have a clear understanding that it's a tool, it's not a toy. So if it's a tool, what does it mean? It means how you're going to use it. Okay, so have that clarity that what apps she can use. Okay, camera, how it is used, that means it's a tool. How it is used, that means it's a toy. Okay, and you have enough toys for you. So you don't need one more toy like this, and you're not going to use it as a toy. Yeah, and so I mean, since you are giving them these potent and tempting tools, okay, they are going to play with it. Okay, it's but natural. So let's not fool ourselves. Okay, it is natural for a child to be curious and try things, in spite of being agreed that they're not going to misuse it. Okay, they will end up misusing it. So you'll have to monitor them. Okay, it's like you are giving them a knife. Yeah, a sharp knife. Okay, yes, they have to use it, but now it's a potent tool. So how do you allow your child to use it? You work with the child. You know monitor them, you guide them. Yeah, so do that. That becomes our responsibility. Okay, as we discussed, they don't have that brain to see the long term implications of certain things, and they will keep falling for these temptations. um, you know um, and that brain development where they can really comprehend and plan and work towards being a responsible person, uh, that development of the brain is complete on at the age of 25. So you can imagine, this whole process from age 10 to 25, this brain is slowly developing. Yeah. So don't expect too much, but we need to take that responsibility. I'll just mute everyone. Yeah, so it is our responsibility, and we have to work towards it. Okay, that would mean if they're using the mobile, you need to allow them to use it in front of you. Okay, tell them to use it. Okay, do it, finish it, and keep it. Yeah. If you are using laptop, okay, sit in living room. Yeah, and use it. Done, now keep it away. Okay, so so I would say, you need to make that choice how you want to allow them to use the tools, so that they will not fall, not get tempted to misuse it. And if you are monitoring, if you're watching them, they will not. So that responsibility we will have to take. Okay, so yes, it's a tool. Allow them to use it. Now, in this COVID situation, we I think we spoke last time that they have to talk to their friends, and I discourage chat, social media. You know, if you want to socialize, call them up. Okay, I encourage that, and since lockdown is slowly um, uh, kind of opening up, have you can have some friends over sometimes. Okay, I would still discourage that, but either that or just make a phone call. Okay, and uh, don't go get into chats. But again, the same problem, that not that I want to monitor anything. I encourage privacy. She should have her privacy. When she's talking to her friends, she can go in her room and talk her heart out. uh, Talk about anything she likes. That doesn't matter. I don't need to know what the discussion is about. However, I would say that not chat. um, Allow them their privacy to have discussion and socializing in that manner. Yeah. So that's now. um, Again, yes, lockdown challenge we have, and I think we kind of covered this point also. Okay, that make sure that they are using it as a tool and not as a toy. And and for that, if you we need to take that responsibility that we monitor them, how they are using this tool. Okay. Now, I understand you might have a lot of questions because you've been facing this difficulty of how to manage gadgets, and you will have your questions. So I would say yes, I can take any questions there. You can unmute yourself to ask question, or you can type it in the chat window. Um, what's the challenge you've been facing with gadgets and children? Okay, so I'll say I've come across a number of questions. So I'll take one of the questions that I get many times, and that's basically children are simply not listening. Okay, and so some of the children, they have been using mobile and video games especially. It's very difficult for them to leave it now because they have been using it. And my answer to that is you have to treat that as an addiction and a phase in which they are going to go through withdrawals. Okay, so when someone something addicted to something is now going through the withdrawals, they are going to get very irritated. Okay, and they are going to find any and every reason to go back. They might even get angry, emotional, violent. Yeah, and that's all possible, so expect that. Okay, you have to do tantrum management. You have to show empathy that yes, I understand, it must be difficult for you to leave this. Okay, and yet stick to the thing that we will not use gadgets. Okay, and we'll use it only as a tool when you need it, otherwise we are not going to use it. So we'll have to stick to that stand. Yeah, I would say you need to do that homework. Yeah, I'll share the link. I might have already shared the link, but I'll share the link in the group where you can find more resources on mobile and its the issues that are created because of the mobile and technology. But once you are convinced that yes, this is much bigger problem, okay, only then you can take that step. I've seen parents, they will simply keep making excuses and so that they can give technology to mobile or expose children to technology. That's because they themselves are not 100% convinced that this is a problem. Yeah, and unless you can feel that there is really a problem, then you'd be able to take that step, that because it's a hard step, I understand. And unless you are really convinced, you would try to find the loopholes. Now got one question here. My son is 3.5. How to make them stop using mobile while having meals? Without mobile, he doesn't have his food. So I would say the earlier you stop this, the easier it would be. So what will happen? If you stop, in fact, with this problem, you can actually make a hard stop. Let's say if he doesn't eat food, what will happen? He'll cry. Yes, I understand. And children cry, and parents have to manage that. Okay, there's a tantrum that will happen, and we have to have a good tantrum management skill. We can talk about tantrum management in one of our discussion. There's a step in which we need to manage that. So we have to have a tantrum management skill where you show your empathy to the child and yet hold your position where you can't give something what they're asking for. Now, what will happen? Yeah, you might not have one meal, but eventually he is going to get hungry, and the child will eat. Okay, so it's much easier problem to solve. First of all, we shouldn't have got into this situation, but now we have, since we have made a mistake, we have to rise and take responsibility of that mistake. Yeah, and that would mean going through this tantrum management. And I know, for especially for mothers, it will be very difficult to see child not eating, and then that's why this whole mobile and problem starts creeping in, because mother wants child to eat, and they can't see child not eating, so they are using certain tactics. uh, yeah, so I would say yes, there will be withdrawals where you will see some tantrums, but it's much easier problem to solve right now if you can tackle it. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. No more questions. Then I would say let's talk about 2 minutes parenting tip. Okay. So today's 2 minutes parenting tip, quickly, I would say, have relationship with a child rather than teaching your child. When I say this, we talked about history or education, but for that matter, anything, you want to teach a child good habits, brushing in the morning. Okay, have a relationship there. Brush together, have fun doing it. Give them reminder in a manner that it's not going to bother them. A friendly, a playful reminder, a playful ritual, okay, where you build relationship over building a habit called brushing your teeth. Okay, so that's your opportunity to build a relationship. Yeah, but cleaning work at home. Okay, do it together. You do mopping, I do sweeping. Yeah, divide the work or divide the rooms. You do these two rooms, I do these two rooms. And then sit together and bitch about it. I hate this work. Talk about it. How miserable you feel doing this, every day, and it's taking your time. You would have done something better, uh, but we have to do. It's an important task to do. You know, uh, have that relationship with your child. That's your opportunity. Doing it, bitching about it, and child will come up with certain secrets. I don't like that thing to do, and that's why I'm never do that. But you think it's the room is all clean. They will reveal certain secrets there. So if you want to talk about morality, ethics, again, have relationship. There are certain things happen in your life, where you may lie to someone, or say, a child has done something, bullied someone uh, at night. Just have a relationship, talking about it, saying, how do you feel? Yeah, does it really make you happy bullying someone? How do you think that person must be feeling? Uh, if you were bullied, share that experience. Morality and ethics, lot of these things can come from television also. If it's not your experience, you can always pick up something from that movie, and after watching the movie, you know pause for some time and talk about that. Yeah, we spoke about this earlier also. If you want to teach them English, yeah, just have English speaking relationship. Throw some accent and talk to the child, or get interested in their books. Read that poetry that the child is supposed to study, and you genuinely discuss what you liked about that poetry. Okay, what's your take on it? What's could be your child's take on it? Yeah, history. Talk about those stories. uh, anything that interests you. um, you can have a genuine discussion with the child about that, and that's a relationship building. It's not teaching, okay? It's a byproduct. I'm genuinely saying, have that as a relationship. Instead of, since I've given you the step, you know, first have that target of, you know, don't keep that goal in mind that you want to teach child, and that's why using this tactics. Don't use this as a tactic. Have that genuine relationship with your child, and you know, learning is byproduct. Okay, by the way, it will happen eventually. Yeah. What's more important is relationship and you having fun together. So that's my 2 minute step. I hope it was 2 minutes. All right, I'll see you next week, next Saturday. I don't know what do we talk about, so please leave your number and name if you're not already part of the group. And do suggest me some subjects we want to, or a topic we want to talk next time. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll pick up something. Yeah, I'll think of something then. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you again next week. Till then, happy parenting.